everybody, it's Carol Featherstone again from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I am on the website cookingbycarol.com. So we hope you all will go and look at the website. Each week we're doing the videos. They're up on the website, and you can see them by just punching in the upper right hand corner videos. So for you who haven't seen all of our videos, they're up there for you to watch. I also have a Google account, so if you're on Google, you can look me up, cookingbycarol.com. Okay, today's been a really busy day for me. I'm a really big volunteer in our church. I actually take care of our kitchen, and we're trying to get some new equipment in, so I spent most of my day trying to find that. So it's good that I've had prior experience with commercial and industrial equipment, so that I don't think we're getting taken advantage of. So, alright, so today I am making something that my neighbor, Jane Rose, that lived across the street from us for 40 years, taught me about the first time. And I talked with her today about it to make sure I had the recipe correct. And she said, well, it's really not my recipe, it's Camille Jessen's recipe. So Camille, if you're watching tonight, I'm doing your strawberry bread, which is really good. Tonight, I'm going to bake them in 2 loaf pans, but you can bake them in the little small tins that you can buy at the grocery store or at Kmart or anywhere like that. They're about this size, and it makes 6 of them, which is great for you to give to friends and relatives and neighbors that you want to give them something to, just a little something to remember them for Christmas. So today we're starting, and we're sifting 3 cups of plain flour. And I usually use cake flour, but today I went to get my cake flour, and unfortunately I had used most of it. So I have White Lily all-purpose flour, which is really good and a refined flour. So we're doing that. We're going to get all this done. And I'm using kind of like a strainer today, but it goes just as fast when you're stirring it with a spoon as it does when you have a sifter that you hold in your hand. So we just keep putting it in until we get it all sifted. And you probably can hear the noise of it going against the wire. That's okay. And we just keep adding until we get it all in. It seems like this is more than 3 cups, but I measured accurately, so it's not. It's 3 cups of flour. So we'll keep doing this, and then I'm going to take this bowl and just put the rest of it in here like that, and we'll be ready to do it. Now, on top of that is a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of salt. So I'm putting that in like that, and a tablespoon, that's right, a tablespoon of cinnamon. So all these go together and into what we're sifting. Keep on going until we get it all done. We know, no more. So we're good. Alright, so we're just going to stir this up really well so that you can see the cinnamon is turning it kind of a little tan color. So you know that's right. Okay, now we need to put 2 cups of sugar. Add that to it. Again, we're going to stir really well. I think we've got somebody that is I want to say hey to, and that's Susie Ryan.
And Catherine Hostetter.
Susie went to church with me at Good Shepherd Lutheran in Mountain Holly. That's a little town that I lived in all my life. It's about 10 miles west of Charlotte, and it used to be a really sleepy little town, but the last time I was home, I could never believe that on the street at 11 o'clock at night there wasn't a place to park. Because people were eating, they were going into the brewery and the restaurant, so it was really nice. But it was really different than when I lived there. So hey Susie, glad you're watching. Alright, I've made this well. You see, kind of a well in the middle here, and push the all the dry stuff to the side. And to that well, I am going to add 4 well-baked put the eggs in. And then it is 1 1/4 cups of oil, vegetable oil. And that's your choice, whatever oil you'd like to use. And you just put that in. And then you start stirring. And just stir till you start getting all the moisture into the dry ingredients. And keep doing, keep stirring, keep stirring. Okay, now, you wonder what we're doing. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store and bought a small package of frozen strawberries. And I drained them as good as I could, and I cut them up in pieces because the only kind they had in the small bags were whole. So I let them thaw out overnight and put them back in the refrigerator this morning, and then I took a paring knife and just chopped them into pieces. So you're going to add 2 cups. The bowl that, or the package that I bought says that it does 3 cups. This makes 3 cups. So we have a little bit left, and I did put them in because I didn't want to dare make too many strawberries to make it too runny. So you just want to make sure that you're stirring it really, really well. And you can see the strawberries, and they're soft. So as you're mixing, you're going to make the strawberries even smaller with your spoon. I try to just kind of press on them a little bit and do it like this. You still see some big pieces, so just take, and I tell you what I think I'm going to try to do. I'm going to take my wire whisk, and when you do that, the whisk seems to do it a little bit better. I'm going to put that spoon right there. And I'm going to take the whisk and I'm going to do it really strong like that. You see how it's tearing the strawberries apart? You want to make sure that they're not in huge pieces. And maybe I probably should have cut them up a little bit finer, but anyway, this is how it looks. And as the very last thing you do, you put 1 1/2 cups of nuts. There again, it's a recipe that I said last week that I use nuts in. If you have anyone allergic to nuts, it isn't going to change the flavor or the taste. It's just giving it some crunch. So when you crunch down on a loaf of the bread, you'll have it. So here we go, all incorporated. And it's all really, really good. All done. So always have a spatula close by when you're using wire whisk or beaters that you do with your KitchenAid or whatever type of mixer that you have. We just want to make sure that all of the dough and the fruit and the nuts are all out of these wire whisk. But today it doesn't want to cooperate at all. It just wants to stay inside. Here we go. I think we got it all out now. Okay. Now, prior to us going live, I have 2 loaf pans, and I have greased and floured them. And that way, hopefully, when you are doing this, I'm just putting things in the sink here. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that the grease and flour on the bottom and all the way up to the top. So I am going to just take the bowl, and I'm going to make this half, and then I'm going to go over to the other one and put in it, and then I can sort of see what we have and go back and forth to make sure that we have enough. This one needs more, and here we go over here. Put some more on this one. You can see now why it will make the 6 mini, what I call mini loaves, and that way it will, it gives you a lot of batter to be able to do that. And we're going to do one more pass through here and get this done. And the last little batch right here, we'll put in this pan right here. And before you ever start before baking, you will find that what temperature that you are cooking in, and what it needs to be put on, and you preheat your oven. Because once you do this, you don't have to stand around and wait on the oven to get hot, because it's not going to necessarily get as hot as you want it to. I learned something today from one of the salespeople at the commercial kitchen place, is that when you turn on your oven, it doesn't, even though you have beepers that tell you it's reached to a certain degree, it does, but it doesn't always get the sides as warm as it does the bottom, because the coils are in the bottom. So he said, always wait about 10 or 15 minutes longer and put your item into baking, and it will cook much better and much faster and more even. So that was a tip I was given today. So we're going to give Mark my bread, and we're going to put this in the oven. You can't see me, you can hear me. We're putting that in the oven to bake, and we're probably going to take a little short time and come back to you so you can actually see what the bread looks like. But one of the other things I thought I would do today is tell you about butter. You will find that a lot of old recipes that I've been finding that were my grandmother's and my grandmother's friends that I had written down from years ago called for margarine. Because back then butter wasn't good for you. However, my grandmother always had butter, and it was delivered by Mr. Condell, the milkman. And we would find butter, we would find milk and other dairy products in the metal box that we left beside the front door. But this is something, I don't know, a lot of you maybe make rolls at Christmas time, or you make a certain type of sourdough bread that you give away. And one of the things that is really good to do that is to do different flavors of butter. And you take a cup of butter and you whip it up really well, and you take a half a cup of confectioner's sugar, and then you take a half a cup of whatever flavor of preserves that you want to use. It could be strawberry, raspberry, apricot's delicious, anything that has a preserve to it that you want to do. And you whip it up really well until it's light and fluffy in your mixer. And when you do that, you can put it in the little cute jars that you can find in different places. I know Walmart has them. You'll find them at various places, Target, some, but they're about this big, and they have a lid on them that it cuts on it, and you just put a little bit of butter in there, or as much as you want, as big a container as you'd like to have, and you do that, and then you took it out and you spread it on your bread. So it's delicious, and again, my friend Jane Rose across the street used to do this and give it to her neighbors when she always distributed the strawberry bread. So if any of you have any questions about that, please leave them on my website, and I will be happy to answer them. We also now have the videos up on YouTube and Facebook, and the page, the Cooking by Carol. Excuse me, I'm a little tongue twisted today. And if you need anything, or you want to ask me any questions about something that you might be cooking that maybe you've never cooked before, just leave me a message, and I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Hey Dolores, I know you're watching. I saw you. So tomorrow I go on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, and I play canasta with the sweetest group of ladies, Christian ladies that you've ever met. And they have welcomed me with open arms when I first moved here 11 years ago, and they have turned out to be some of my very best friends. So tomorrow I'm going to Dolores' house to play canasta. So we're going to say pause for just a little while, and when the bread comes out of the oven, I'll come back on and let you see it. Till then, see us in a little bit.